Hello guys, this is all you need to know about the Goblin Barrel. It is a spell that can be placed anywhere on the arena, which you usually do not want to use on defense unless it's a last resort, since even regular 2 elixir goblins can get more value. The Goblin Barrel is a 3 elixir epic card which can be used on your opponent's towers. It has star levels going up to tier 3 in which the barrel will be golden. It also has an evolution in which the real one will be placed where you click it, and the fake one will be mirrored across the vertical axis on the other side of the map. The fake Goblin Barrel can be distinguished by the opponent, and it will die to basically anything in one shot. However, it will still do damage not much lesser than a normal goblin. You will usually play the Goblin Barrel on the tower with a spirit tanking for it or a cheap tank. This is so that the tower will target your tank or the spirit, and your goblins from the Goblin Barrel will stay unaffected. It is the most effective when the opponent does not have lock, barb barrel or arrows in hand. This is because the goblins are very easily killed by spells, except the Zap and Snowball. Now, moving on to more advanced tips for the Goblin Barrel. The Goblin Barrel is a highly deceptive card. Putting your Goblin Barrel 1 or 2 tiles off center of the opponent's princess tower will not easily be seen. This is widely known as the Trick Barrel. If your opponent does not pay close attention to the flight path of the Goblin Barrel, he will definitely miss his lock, barb barrel, or even arrows on your barrel. Now, how do you defend a Trick Barrel then? If you are playing the Barbarian Barrel, which has the lowest radius, you need to wait for the Goblin Barrel to fly over to your side of the map before accurately pinpointing out whether it is on the left or the right, or maybe even the normal barrel. So the key is to be patient. Do not release your barb barrel or your spells too early. For me, looking at the shadow of the barrel does not really help. I rather look at the actual barrel itself to determine whether it is off center or not. You can rewind the video to see the difference between a left or outer barrel, a normal barrel, and a right or inner barrel. From this clip, you can see how patient I am with my barb barrel. Only when his Goblin Barrel is close to my tower, then I will release my barb barrel according to where I think the barrel will land. If you know the opponent is going to lock, there is no point going inner or outer barrel because the radius of the lock is big enough such that placing it in the middle will kill all goblins no matter what. Instead, the tricky barrel placement will be 2 tiles behind the princess tower, or 1 tile behind and 1 tile away from the king tower. Another way to tricky barrel is 2 tiles to the outer side, as shown in the clip here. When facing arrows, putting your Goblin Barrel a few tiles in front of the opponent's princess tower works too. But this is ineffective most of the time because it is very obvious. However, if you are facing opponents without a spell or his spell is not in cycle, you can still do the inner barrel placement because most opponents will put their troop to defend a Goblin Barrel on the outer side. Just a cool tip, if you face players who like to princess at the bridge while putting Goblin Barrel on your tower, you should actually put your lock 1 tile higher such that you miss the back goblin and use something else to tank for the back goblin. This is so that the lock will kill the 2 front goblins while also killing the princess at the bridge, and your tank will take care of the back goblin. The next part is Goblin Barrel defense without lock and barb barrel. When using delivery, you must react to the Goblin Barrel fast enough, otherwise the goblins will always get a hit. If the opponent does not have a tank for the Goblin Barrel, a late snowball on the Goblin Barrel will also allow the princess tower to kill all the goblins before any goblins get a hit. A perfectly timed tornado in this placement can actually negate all damage and pull all goblins to the king tower. Now, what if you don't have spells in hand? How do you defend Goblin Barrels? The simple answer is that you must be creative and react very fast. Troops that can defend a Goblin Barrel without hovering behind your princess tower include but are not limited to Hunter, Firecracker, Bowler, Skeleton Army, and a simple E-Spirit plus Skeletons. Another cool tip is if you are playing Fire Spirit, placing any single unit troop or skeletons first with a Fire Spirit on the same tile right behind the princess tower in quick succession will allow the Fire Spirits to jump onto all the goblins without taking any damage. Troops that require you to hover behind the princess tower are Valkyrie and Goblin Gang. Because the timing window for the Valkyrie and the Goblin Gang to take care of all the goblins is so small, hovering it behind your Princess Tower is needed. Placing your Magic Archer on either of these two tiles will allow the Magic Archer's attack to pierce two goblins, with the inner tile being more effective. This is because the Princess Tower will shoot the inner goblin first, so putting it on the inner tile will allow it to pierce the back and the outer goblin, reducing the damage of the goblins on your tower. If you are caught in an awkward cycle or are playing a beatdown deck, the idea is to be creative with your defenses. Putting a tombstone behind your tower with the constant spawning skeletons will also reduce a lot of Goblin Barrel damage. A Delete Electro Wizard or Ice Wizard in this placement will also allow its spawn damage to hit all 3 goblins, with the outer goblin hitting your wizard instead of the tower. Champion abilities like the Little Prince, Monk, Golden Knight and Mighty Miner are also effective in dealing against the Goblin Barrel. However, they have to be on the map first, otherwise the ability will not activate in time for no goblin hits on the tower. Here are some creative and fascinating interactions with the Goblin Barrel. Goblin Giant Rage with good timing prevents all damage on the tower. An Evil Bomber placed behind the tower will allow its bouncing bomb to take care of all 3 goblins without a hit. An Evil Cannon at this placement takes care of a full Evil Barrel without taking any damage. That's 3 elixir for 3 elixir. A Princess at the back and a Snowball will also take care of a Tricky Barrel fully, taking advantage of the Princess splash damage. And that was everything you needed to know about the Goblin Barrel. Hope you found this video useful and comment what other videos you want to see next.